Hey everyone, it's Richie. Hope you guys are all doing well. Sorry if I sound a little bit quiet. It's very late at the moment. Let's see what time it is. It is 3 in the morning. Secluded Springs just came out about an hour ago, and the whole card list is here on Pokemon Zone, so I want to take a look at it real quick and give my very, very early first impressions. The set has been out for an hour. So if I say that a card here is bad and it ends up being a tier 0 deck, well, it's been an hour, man. What do you want from me? But these are going to be my very early first impressions. After a couple of days of tournaments, I will be making another video going over the whole list again and seeing what is like really meta defining, what is really good. But if you ask me, honestly, this could potentially be a set that you could skip if you're not interested at all in playing water. Like, if you were playing something like Espeon, Sylveon last format, or Dark Tina, you can skip this set and just keep playing that deck and you'll be fine. So, and that applies to a lot of decks in the format, like Buzzwole, Buzzwole maybe like Celebi, but we'll talk about that. So, yeah, let's just jump straight into it, right? So, first off, let's talk about Hoppip Splash for 10. I mean, nothing really to mention here. Skiploom does bounce for 30. You get to switch out, which is kind of nice. So if you start this and you're going first, if you start Hoppip going first, on your second turn you can evolve to Skiploom and switch out immediately, which is pretty sweet. And Jumpluff is a cute card, 70 and you may switch. You can actually choose, which is nice. I'm not really seeing this though. I don't really see how this is very like impactful personally. It's a cool effect. I don't see how Jumpluff is super good. Like, what deck wants to use this? Also, it's a stage 2, so it's not like a super splash pool. Like, you're building a deck around this. I'm really getting sick of this game being 20 cards, but I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Sunkern, Tackle for 10, Sunflora, this is pack fodder, whatever. Okay, so Celebi's interesting, right? Celebi's interesting. So we have de-evolution in the game now, similar to TM Devo in the real game. So this does 40 for 2, and you devolve your opponent's active. So this is really good for rare candy, right? Because now you put their stage 2 in your hand, and the rare candy's gone. It's in the discard. So if they don't have a stage 1 in their hand, or another rare candy, they cannot evolve again. And also, if they've taken enough damage for the basic Pokemon to get knocked out, you just take a point. Now the problem is this is 2 grass. This is not splashable at all. And honestly, I've heard people saying, "Oh, dude, I mean the rare candy meta is over." Are we playing the same game? What rare candy meta? Basic Pokemon are everywhere. I mean, Dark Teen is still the best deck of the format. So Celebi's not going to see play. The only deck that I think that can maybe fit this in and actually have it be pretty decent is Buzzwole, because Buzzwole loses super, super hard to Charizard, right, to Stokesard, because Stokesard one-shots the entire deck. Even Leaf Cape Buzzwole does not survive against Stokesard, but with Celebi, now, even with just one copy, it's going to be inconsistent as hell to draw it, but you have a fighting chance versus Buzzwole, which is not what that was not the case before. Or sorry, you have a fighting chance versus Stokesard as Buzzwole, which again was not the case. So I think Celebi is legit in Buzzwole, but that's it. That's like the only deck that likes this. Maybe if we get a grass deck later that's also super weak to Stokesard, and Stokesard is really good, then Celebi will see play in that deck. So maybe this will become better as the game goes on, but right now, extremely, extremely niche. Extremely niche, but has potential in Buzzwole, genuinely. Do not write that card off if you play that deck. Durant is cute. It's pack fodder. Whatever. Slugman, Macargor, pack fodder. Entei I talked about in my previous video. Talonflame is 70 for 1 is good, but it's a stage 2, so I'm good. Okay, Poliwag and Poliwhirl I will circle back to, because there's an EX here that I'm very excited about. Notice that Poliwrath is missing. Tentacool and Tentacruel are pack fodder. Slowking I talked about last video, that is pack fodder. Jinx is pack fodder. Suicune X I talked about last video. Milotic I talked about last video. Mantike I talked about last video. If you are going to pull anything from this pack, if you want anything from this pack really badly, as a competitive player, you want Suicune and Mantike. Cryogonal's pack fodder. Raikou, I talked about it last video. Tynamo, Electros line pack fodder. Stunfisk is fodder. Boltund is fodder. I mean, 70 for 1 is cool, but good luck activating that. If we ever get a good Mismagius, Misdreavus is kind of cool, because when you play it down on your bench, you can have your opponent reveal their hand. So, like, this plus Silver is kind of cool, right? But there's no Mismagius right now worth playing. This is kind of fun, though. Like, this Mismagius is kind of fun, though, because you can do 90 for 1, which is kind of sick, I think. So, I don't want to say that this is anything. I don't think that this is something, but it is cool. 90 for 1 is notable. I don't think that's nothing can match that, I don't think. Okay, I don't know how to feel about Galarian Cursola. This other thing is as standard as it gets. 60 HP tackle for 20, whatever. Galarian Cursola has only 80 HP, and if this thing gets knocked out by your opponent's Pokemon, you flip a coin, and if heads, they're knocked out. Now, this doesn't work with Will, because you're flipping the coin during their turn, but it is interesting. I mean, whenever they take down your Cursola, they could just get knocked out, which is hilarious. So, I mean, this is another 20-card game victim. Maybe you would see Psychic Dex tech this in as a counter to certain matchups if we had the space, but we don't. So, I don't think that's going to see play. Latios and Latios I talked about last video. Don't play them. They're garbage. Jellicent is pack fodder. Dugtrio's pack fodder. Okay, Poliwrath EX, man. Okay, so now I really want this card to be good because it looks like so much fun to play, but I don't think it is, unfortunately. I think it's going to be a gimmick, but I'm still going to try to make it work. So the reason I think this card is maybe not a gimmick is because it can hit for 180 damage with no drawback, turn after turn after turn, because this works with the Politoed that we got last set. And Politoed is going to boost this thing's attack by 40, and if this thing has water energy attached with Hydro Knuckle, it gets 40, so 40 plus 40 is 80, 80 plus 100 is 180. So if you have the full Politoed setup with water energy on this thing, you can hit for 180, which is ridiculous. And even without Politoed, you're already hitting for 140, which is a great benchmark to hit. You're one-shotting Darkrai, you're one-shotting many of the evolutions like Sylveon, like Espeon without Cape. I mean, it's quite powerful. Maybe Red is a valid addition to this deck because of that. But, where was I getting at with this? But yeah, the problem with Poliwrath is, like, you can only play 2 Poliwag in your deck. If you could play more, I feel like this would be significantly better, but you can only play 2, and also, you have to find 2 Stage 2 Pokemon. You need to find Politoed, and you need to find Poliwrath, which is pretty difficult. Now, not all hope is lost, because luckily, Poliwag is not a bad start for the deck. If Poliwag was a bad start for the deck, this shit would be dead on arrival. But Poliwag has Call for Family, which is actually a good attack, right? So, because Poliwag is actually not a terrible start for you, I think that this deck is playable. I'm testing it right now with the Sylveon Draw Engine and with Mantike to get the water energy onto your Poliwag as fast as possible. That being said, I still think it's maybe a little bit rough. Maybe this deck likes Suicune. The problem is Suicune is 2 water, and you need to run at least... You need some fighting energy in the deck because they made Poliwrath a fighting EX, not water, and it needs fighting double colorless for the attack. So that's the issue, right? So Poliwrath, I think, maybe has a little bit of potential, but I think it's going to be a gimmick. Now, Fanfy and Donphan, Flail... Okay, so I talked about Fanfy in my last video, and I said that this thing was strictly worse than the other Fanfy. That might not be the case anymore, and I'll talk about why. So Donphan, just play Donphan EX. This is pack fodder. Relicanth can one-shot Oricorio, I guess. Pack fodder. Crustle's pack fodder. Seviper... This is really funny. This is like the lamest way they could have incorporated Seviper. I mean, I know it's like the lore that him and Zangoose hate each other, but come on, man. At least try to make it playable. Zoroark I talked about last video. Malamar is pack fodder. Dragology is pack fodder. Hey, they know the megas that we're getting in ZA, though. Altaria. Yeah, Altaria is actually decent. This can do 100 for 2. So this is like Silvally type level without having to play supporters. So, no, I still don't think it's better than Silvally because Silvally has a dedicated supporter and Altaria doesn't. So, yeah. Maybe when Mega Altaria comes out, maybe this is playable in that deck as a way to get around Oricorio? Maybe? No, but then you need to run dual energy. Never mind. Don't listen to me. Farfetch'd. This thing sucks. Holy hell. I haven't even seen it until now. The thing sucks. Lickitung. Okay, so this is actually a sniper. Yeah, it's pack fodder. Igglybuff is This is like the worst baby I think we've gotten yet. Holy hell. It's really bad. Teddy Ursa and Ursaring, unfortunately, pack fodder. When we get Ursaluna EX, we'll be back. We'll be back, okay? We'll be back. Miltank I talked about last video. Yes, I know it got Whitney. Let's just talk about Whitney right now. Don't play this, okay? Don't play this. This heals 60 from your Miltank, and it heals, right? Maybe if Whitney accelerated your Miltank's damage by like 2 turns or something, it would be good, but it's not. So don't play Whitney Miltank, okay? It's a fucking trap. Azurill is really interesting, actually, because now you have a baby that can heal 50. So I don't think this is going to see a lot of play now at all. But when Mega Pokemon come out, this is a way to heal them. Like, and who cares that Azurill? Who cares that you're giving up your Azurill, right? Because you'd rather give up 1 point than 3, right? So I think that this is actually pretty cool for Mega Pokemon when they come to the game. Here's the Swablu. Zangoose, I mean, way better than Seviper, but still not very good. I guess I had... Jordan doesn't see play, this won't either. Fletchling, whatever. Okay, Inflatable Boat is cool. Like, this is actually a good card, and this is where the 20 card syndrome really starts to rear its ugly head, okay? The more cards that we get, and I will talk about this more in a future video, so remember this, right? The more cards that we get, the more tired I am of Pokemon Pocket being a 20 card game. Because we're getting all these very cool, interesting additions to the game, and we can't play any of them because we don't have the space. Like Dark Pendant, like Inflatable Boat, like the next tool that I'm about to talk about. A bunch of cool Pokemon Tech cards. Pokemon Pocket needs to change significantly, and I will make a video on this, so stay tuned for that. But and unfortunately, it's not going to happen because they already said that they're not, or strongly implied at least, that they're not making this game a 4-point game, which is also part of what I want. But yeah, Inflatable Boat was really cool, but what deck is going to be able to fit this? Like what deck is going to be able to fit this, man? Memory Light. Memory Light is really, really cool. I like this card a lot. So this lets your Pokemon, your active, or sorry, whatever this is attached to, can use attacks from its previous evolutions, right? So I cannot tell you exactly every single use of this card because I would literally have to go back to every Pokemon ever printed that is still good and look at their previous evolutions and tell you if Memory Light is worth it. However, with this set alone, off the top of my head, right, Flail Fanfy, this is what I was talking about earlier, is actually quite decent now. Because if you play this alongside Donphan, now Donphan can hit for big damage for 1 energy. And that's quite significant, right? You can hit for big damage without needing that 3 energy, if you have that Memory Light on, which is kind of cool. So I think it's really good for Fanfy and Donphan EX. And another thing I think it could be decent for, but I don't know if the deck can fit it personally, I haven't tried it with it yet, is Poliwrath. Because Poliwrath is a 3 energy attacker, and if you put the tool on Poliwrath, now it can use not only can it hit for 30 thanks to Poliwhirl, but it can now also call for family just like Poliwag, and that's really cool. Like Poliwrath being able to set up its bench in addition to Poliwag being able to do that is kind of cool. Now the problem is deck space. We only got 16 slots per deck, man. I say 16 because research in Pokeball is mandatory in 99% of all decks, so it's very hard to fit stuff with 16 spaces. And the last couple of cards we have, Traveling Merchant, I talked about this card in my last video, this is garbage. And Morty. And Morty is also bad, unfortunately. It reminds me of Hiker. I think this is literally just Psychic Hiker, right? I'm pretty sure this is literally just Psychic type Hiker. Hiker sees no play, this won't either. I mean, you could... At most, you look at the top 4, and then maybe... No, I was thinking maybe you could look at the top 4 cards of this deck, and then choose whether you want... Like, you can rearrange them, so you can draw the ones you want with Sylveon, but you can't even do that, because without Sylveon in play, you would only have a max of 3 Psychic Pokemon, because Eevee is a normal type, it's not a Psychic, so... Okay, yeah, Morty's worthless, don't play this card. And that's a very, very, very quick, like, rapid fire, it's late, so I went through this very quickly. But it's a mini set. There's not a lot of cards. There's only about 71 unique cards, if I recall correctly. I'm telling you, not to say that there's nothing good here because, I mean, Manaphy and Suicune are the best cards to come out of this set, 100%. Or Mantike, sorry. Mantike, Suicune, for sure. If you're chasing any cards this set as a competitive player, maybe those two, because Water is in a better spot now. However, you can 100% skip this set. You don't need to, like, there's a couple of other fun ideas that I mentioned, like Entei plus Stoke Zard, and, you know, Raikou might help Lightning a little bit, even though this card is definitely weaker than the other two dogs, I think, but, like, there's some other fun ideas that maybe could work, but I'm telling you right now, if you want to save your resources for the next big set, and you don't want to spend on this, it's totally valid, because, like, dude, this is not going to shake up the meta all that much, I don't think. You can be playing any of the top decks last format, and continue to play them into this format, and not much is going to change, I don't think. So, because there's a lot, and I do mean a lot of pack fodder, and even the cards that look playable don't look better than what we have already. And a lot of that is just because Pokemon Pocket is still a 20-card game. So, but anyway, I'm not going to rant about that now. I will be ranting about that in a future video. I'm preparing a pretty big video where I talk about all the changes that I want to see to Pokemon Pocket in terms of gameplay, because I think this game needs a pretty big gameplay overhaul at this point. So, yeah, I want to talk about that. But yeah, this is my day one, my hour one, really, review of Secluded Springs. This is what I think of the set. If I'm wrong, then you can all laugh at me and point at me and say that I'm an idiot, but this is what I thought. Now, of course, like I said, after a couple of days of tournaments, I will be, in fact, looking back upon this and making a tier list of what cards are really good, what cards are really not all that good. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys around. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. Later.